Creating and editing standard shipping rules in Cloud Commerce Pro. Shipping rules are automated shipping profiles in Cloud Commerce Pro that make decisions based on your business rules to decide which courier and which service you will send a consignment with. Shipping rules are an advanced feature of Cloud Commerce Pro, and our support team will offer extensive help with their setup. However, this guide will take you through the process to help you make changes independently. There are 3 types of shipping rules: standard rules, which cover many criteria, single product-based rules, which are tied to a specific product or product range, and product group-based rules, which apply to a collection of predefined products. This guide will focus on standard rule creation. See the accompanying guides for information on creating single product-based and product group-based rules by clicking on the links in the description. From the Admin Center in Cloud Commerce Pro, click Configuration. From the menu on the left, select Shipping and then Rules to continue. The Shipping Rules page displays all previously created rules. The list can be filtered to show only standard or product-based rules using the buttons provided. To start creating a new rule, click the Add New Rule button. In the new Shipping Rule Creation window, you can add all the details to customize the rule to your needs. Start by giving your new rule a descriptive name to ensure its function is clear. Use the drop-down menu under Courier to select the specific courier you want to use. Be aware you will only see couriers that you have enabled on the system. The drop-down under Service will allow you to select the service type required. These are specific to the courier, so be sure to set the courier first, otherwise this drop-down will be empty. Use the box under Bonus Score to control the priority assigned to the rule. For example, if 2 rules match for a certain order and both have the score of 6, setting a bonus score of 1 on this rule will mean that after the scoring is done, 1 will be added to the score, making a total of 7, and thus prioritizing this order over the other. Bonus scores should be used sparingly, because they add a level of complexity to your rule scoring, and generally you should be able to make your criteria match unique sets of circumstances without them. Set the cost of the courier service under Base Cost. Cloud Commerce Pro will score 2 orders the same, but pick the lowest cost one for you if you enter costs that the courier charge you. If required, you can also set how many kilograms are included in the base cost. In the box under Cost per additional kilogram, you can enter the cost your courier charges for each additional kilogram of weight in the consignment. If you require additional labels printing, you can input the number in the Additional Labels box. The default setting of 0 means that the original label will print, but no extras will be produced. Normally, you would use your courier's own label, so you can skip this step. However, if you're creating a manual label, choose a HTML label design from your templates using the drop-down below Manual Dispatch Label template. If you want orders that trigger this rule to show in your priority section in the dispatch queue, tick the box below Priority. If you're using priority orders, you can also set the number of days that it should take you to dispatch the order. By default this is 0, meaning the order should be dispatched the same day. Set the VAT percentage for the country you will be shipping to. Use the drop-down below Label Type to set the type of label you want to use. Label and secondary label are the same, but can be configured for different size printers as required. You can also choose A4 size labels, as well as integrated label, to create an invoice and shipping label on one sheet. See our separate guide on integrated label setup, or speak to your project manager for more information. The base weight is a minimum default weight that should be passed through to the courier. Weights are normally passed through from the products on the order, but in some cases you may not have added weight to the product. Most couriers require a minimum weight to be passed through, or the label request will fail, so this option enables you to set a weight that will always be passed through, even if you haven't set any product weights. The product weights override the minimum base weight unless they are less than the base weight. You can also set the maximum weight value to be passed through to the courier. Unless you have a specific reason to cap your weight, you can leave this at 0. Use the drop-down menu below Label Type to set the type you require. There are currently 4 label types available. Calculated by order is the default on all orders in which the system will intelligently handle how many labels it needs for each order. Label per item will produce a label for each line on the order. For example, if you have 3 lines on an order, you will get 3 labels, even if one of those lines contains 100 items that would need to go in 5 separate boxes. Label per product will produce a label for every item on the order. For example, if there was a line with a 100 item quantity, then 100 labels would be produced. Finally, you can select Label from Products if you wish to set the label amount on a product-by-product basis. You can set this from any product variation by looking for additional shipping labels when creating or editing a product listing. If you are unsure which of the 4 settings to choose from, it is always best to leave it on the default setting or speak to your project manager for advice. If required, the system can send a CSV file to the courier. You can select from either sending a CSV file on its own or a CSV together with a label. By default, this will be set to Don't Send CSV. Cloud Commerce Pro supports many courier accounts and more than one account for each individual courier if required. For example, you may choose one account with Royal Mail for orders from certain channels and a second Royal Mail account for other channels. To do this, just set the account required in each rule. The estimated days to deliver setting is to set how long this courier service will take for the goods to arrive with the customer. This time period, together with the delivery day setting and any product-based settings, will be added together to show the estimated delivery date. For example, if you are using Royal Mail 48, you would set this to 2 days. Now we need to add some rules. This is the most important part of the shipping rule creation process, as these act as the essential criteria that make the rule function. Be sure to add at least one rule to ensure the whole thing works as needed. You can apply rules related to things such as weight, postcode, total order value, and many more. You can add further customization using operators such as greater than, equal to, or contains before adding the value you want the rule to apply to. For example, you could set your rule so it only applies to orders under 1 kilogram. It will then be excluded from any orders where the total weight exceeds 1 kilogram. You can set a rule as optional by clicking the checkbox provided. This means that the rule will be taken into account for scoring, but the whole shipping rule will not be specifically excluded if it doesn't apply. Click the Add button to confirm your choices and apply the chosen criteria to your rule. You can add as many of these as you want by repeating the previous steps. Each one that is matched will mean the shipping rule will score higher. So, for example, if a shipping rule has just one criteria that matches, and another has 3, then the second one will be chosen. Any rules you add will appear at the bottom, and with a button to delete them if needed. When you're happy with all the details you have input and the rules you have added, you can go ahead and click the Save and Add Filters button to further customize your rule. If you don't require any filters, you can simply press the Save button to continue. You always have the option of adding filters to a rule later on. For this example, we are going to click Save and Add Filters to begin adding filters right away. The Filters menu shows additional criteria that can be used to ensure that the rule is only triggered in certain circumstances. There are 4 categories of filters that you can select from. These include countries, shipping types, sales channels, and order types. These can be toggled individually by ticking the box beside them, or in bulk by clicking the Toggle Selection button next to each filter category. For example, you might want to create a shipping rule that only applies to orders being shipped to Sweden. From the countries list, you would simply check the box beside Sweden before clicking Save to confirm your choice. Unlike the rule criteria, filters are a non-essential part of the process, so you do not need to add any if you do not need them. You can find your new rule at the bottom of the page. If you want to make any changes to your rule, you can click the Edit button. The Actions menu next to each rule offers some extra functionality when needed. Clone creates a copy of the rule, which is useful if you want to create multiple rules that are very similar. Simply clone your original rule and then edit the new one to fit its function. Exclusions are a feature that are currently being depreciated. Unless you are already using these, you should have no reason to add or edit them. If you are unsure about exclusions, please speak to your project manager. Filters brings up the Filters menu which we set up earlier. Use this to add filters at a later date or to edit the ones you have already set. Delete will remove the rule from the system completely. Use this if you created a rule in error or if it's no longer required. That concludes creating and editing standard shipping rules in Cloud Commerce Pro. Click the links on screen for our guides about creating single product and product group based shipping rules, or find the links in the description. Please speak to your project manager for more information.